It's the underground of motorsports. First, we challenge the idea of having a human driver.
The only one racing platform for real-size racing robots on this planet, where we are pushing racing robots to become superheroes. Today we're going to talk to a company called Ralliant, who is doing autonomous software for electric vehicles. Welcome, guys. We are talking to Timur and Pavel. Hello, are you there?
Hi.
Hi,
Good
Yasser.
to
How
see
are you
you.
doing?
Good. Greetings from London. Where are you based exactly?
So we are based right now in Russia, and we also have a headquarters in United States.
Super cool. And you, Timur, the same? You at the same location?
Yes. Actually, no. I'm in St. Petersburg.
Okay. Just a question. Can you tell us a bit about what you're doing? What is Ralliant? What is actually your technology? You're going to speak later. How is it relevant to Roborace?
All right. So it's a great pleasure to be with you today. We are Ralliant. We are a young team. We are pretty ambitious about the Roborace. Actually, we are alumnus from Russian mathematics and engineers universities. There are 88 people in total in our team. We actually have a very different background, starting from astronomical calculations, as for Timur, he would say about it, and up to automotive industry experience. That allows us to combine different views, yes, for different tasks, what we are working about, and it helps us to, let's say, solve different goals and challenges we share. So, what we are doing? We are doing self-driving. Yes, that's it. So we do not teach the car to drive in a specific city area. We actually create it in a way that it may drive everywhere if possible. So that is our vision, and this is shortly meaning. Speaking more widely, self-driving actually has two approaches. Yes, the first one was tested back in 2004 when the first of the DARPA Grand Challenges you may heard about is a competition. It was held in early 2004, and it was almost about the driving a car for in a constructed 3D map. A large number of expensive sensors, as a lidars or another sensor, have been used for better localization. So, by the way, almost every vehicle of the place used the lidars, and a lot of mistakes they were faced. And after that, the situation was solved. They establish a community, the strong communities that further played a great role in the area of self-driving cars. So everybody knows about the Google car, and the root of this project is back for this competition. So speaking about our technology, as I already said, two approaches. The second approach is based on neural networks, reinforcement learning, and complex math. So this is exactly the way we decided to do at Ralliant. Just even because this approach could work in different weather conditions, right? So actually, this area is still pure understood for the moment. but it allows us to create self-driving to much more closer to the real environment, to driving in different conditions. Of course, we do not forget about the edge cases or some unusual events, yes, that could rarely happen on the street, but it still remains and they still need to be dealt with. Yes.
Can you know,
So,
that's very interesting. Can you, yeah. Yeah, sorry, please go
yeah,
on.
go ahead. Yeah, just
Yeah, what I wanted to say
it's
is like, oh, sorry, yeah, we have some delay. Sorry.
generally, that's it. It's just I could add that what set us apart from other market players that we
Yeah.
don't use lidars and we don't use HD maps to build the self-driving car. Yes, that's it. We use the standard set of sensors that is already integrated in the car and that came from the factory assembly line. Yes, so it's a pretty challenging approach. There are some people that don't believe in this approach. They need to, yes, you need to use lidars, you need to edge the maps, but what we see, the combining data from both radar and cameras and ultrasonics sensors are pretty good, and it could be a concurrence for the lidar, yes, in some cases. So this approach not only makes the technology much cheaper, but it also provides to it is widely scalable. Yes, and another thing of what we're doing is we do not need a curious GNSS sensor. Yes, in our tests, we use just fairly cheap receiver with a frequency of only 14 hertz. It is so less, and it costs only $1,000. So now we can actually use even cheaper GNSS sensor, and so all we need is to understand of where we are now and where we on a specific street or not, and if we localize with this GNSS, so after that we can yeah, the radius should be almost 50 centimeters if we receive this data, so we then starting to localize it with the help of another system. So just for understanding.
You know, that's interesting actually, because you know, in Roborace, as you know very well, on our platform we have bots and robocars. We have a bunch of different sensors, lidars, ultrasonic sensors, cameras, and pretty much even GPS. So it seems like with your approach, if you are joining Roborace and you would be competing with the other teams, you would focus only on some of these sensors, that you are the best, and you would completely rely on the cameras and a couple of other, not on all the sensors that are available in the car. Am I reading this right?
Yes. Yes, absolutely. So probably Timur could add something for what I'm saying.
It will heavily depends on which speed of camera, which shutter in camera, and some other parameters of your cameras and other sensors, but we want to prove that we can race only on cameras, and it will be a big challenge.
Okay, so that's actually another question that I wanted to ask you, because to challenge your software, the Roborace is a great platform actually to test it in the extreme conditions. If you have this software that is so capable, you can join Roborace and you can compete with the other teams who are actually using all the sensors and who are already like developing software for different kind of opportunities that platform gives. Like, how do you see that? Like, why and how have you got interested in Roborace? Was it your first thought, you know, to test your software against the other, let's call it like a traditional approach?
Well, how we got the interest in Roborace? Well, of course, we have heard about Roborace many times since it was launched, and uh, when it's actually the story starts when it was last autumn, and we saw the racings, yes, from the beta season, and it was so exciting for us. Then we immediately make this decision that we want to try our hands in Roborace. So that was how it happened.
And because you are one of the teams that we call commercial, because there are two types of teams in Roborace. One of them are universities. There are also commercial teams that are like yourself. What do you think, like for the other young startups that are like yours? What is the ultimate goal for companies like yours to take part in Roborace?
Well, this competition is intended to put self-driving technology to the test in different conditions of performance racing, and it could push innovation, yes, in both SAI and the sport racing and others. So we think that when universities participate in such kind of competitions, they get a better understanding of where to take their research out of what they need to clarify or what to need they to focus and whatever. So they can, as speaking, putting the theory in practice. So what they're getting while they raise the cars into the race. So actually, we think that the core of future teams would be based in universities, but on the other hand, it totally depends on the leader of each team, right? So if a private company is led by a very enthusiastic and open-minded and sophisticated person with the needed skills, so it's this company, private company, also have a great chances to win to show the great results.
And while we're talking, there are some questions coming from the chat. Like already, guys are asking if your technology is already implemented in Roborace. So we are, just to let you know, we are just starting. Those are the first conversations, and the goal of this conversation is, of course, obviously to have Ralliant as one of our teams. There will be a process where Ralliant will have to integrate their software with our platform, do some testing. It usually these tests usually last a couple of months because it's not that easy. But then after, hopefully you would become one of the teams and compete with the others. I have a question also regarding, because Roborace is not just a technology platform where you can test your software. It definitely is, but the other angle is that we are calling this underground of motorsport, which is really cool. Young guys that are very fluent in technology can code the robots, and the robots are competing with each other. So do you also consider this approach as one of your interests, like to be as a motorsport like a team of the future of motorsport, like having sponsors where you can actually basically even earn some money on that? Have you considered that?
Yes, absolutely. So we now have a negotiation with a few potential sponsors. They are very famous brands, by the way. And so the plan is simply just join us in the race. For sponsors, it could be a great chance to become of part of this automotive revolution. Yes, what we think Roborace was born for. And for us, it is a chance to make this happen, to make a big technology shift.
And if when we are working on Roborace, we are putting lots of attention. So the whole platform is really fun. It's not just the technology, it's not just the motorsport, but also cool to watch. Is this element of fun important? How do you think it is important to develop future technologies of this kind?
Well, let's see. It's absolutely true. So if such kind of competition are open, so they work for public, they promote research, they demonstrate feasibility, and they diffuse some ideas, shift risks, and so on and so on. Of course, they can really spur innovation among the young engineering scientists. So, of course, the element of fun is absolutely needed to such kind of racing.
It's also important, I guess, for the team, right? That you're working with, like your guys can test in really cool conditions the software that you're producing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So probably Timur can add something important.
No, just whole our team is based on making fun moments from what we're doing. We trying to have fun while we work. After the work, we're all good friends. So your fun part is what we want, actually. Part of, at least.
You know, there is also I also wanted to ask you this question because this might be interesting for our followers. Roborace is a mixture of actually many things. There is robotics, there is artificial intelligence, of course, there is underground motorsport, super hardware. One of the elements that we are developing and working on right now is actually gaming. And by gaming, we understand the possibility for our audience to participate in the real life events. You know, so you're not only watching the robots driving, but you're actually participating in the game by interacting with the obstacles, virtual obstacles on the track. So we have the simulation layer where for the last several events we were showing. It's called metaverse, where it's like a mixed reality when the robot can drive, you know, through virtual objects or around virtual objects to gain some points to or to avoid some minus points. But the most important question that I wanted to ask out of that, like, how do you think the gaming element and interacting with people could be important for developing this kind of technology like you are doing? Do you think that this is something that also will bring you some benefit?
Firstly, of course, it would benefit for us because actually for self-driving there's no difference from avoid a real person or virtual person or some virtual track or other obstacle. So it will show the ability of self-driving vehicles to solve problem of friend pedestrians and other edge case and hard to find and hard to avoid the problems in real life. So gamification is overall gamification is widely implemented. So imagine a simulator that will teach a self-driving vehicle to predict, or you can start a Need for Speed and teach car to drive. So some part of gamification is real good for self-driving companies like ours. And what you're talking about, your audience, so audience that can create some obstacles and play with a car from WeChat, I suppose, or something like that. So it will be something like Hunger Games, when only the viewers doesn't need to be super rich to create virtual obstacles. It's a unique and cool proposition for which audience, I think.
Yeah, I mean, look, to me, it's also, and to us, it's also like a next level of gaming, you know, because we used to have this understanding of games that the games are fully virtual worlds, you know, where you are, you know, playing the individual world. But, you know, what we are creating is actually the virtual world mixed with the robots, which is like a real physical world. And this is making all the scene really interesting, where people can play really real-time live on Twitch, on the platform. And the robots are participating, so different kind of robots in the future. Actually, this would be really cool. Twitch audience and people that are actually interested in gaming and Twitch, they are usually young generation. Why do you think they could be, or they should be maybe interested in technologies like what you are coding right now, what you are developing? Why this is important for the next generations? What do you think?
Firstly, I suppose I'm part of this generation, and for me, it's not how you think about future. It's how you think about your life, like your next week or your next summer or something like that. And having a self-driving stage, having a stage that can gamify your life or make you few couple hours while you go to work. So it's really cool, and
Okay, that's interesting. Look, these technologies are definitely technologies for the future, so definitely this is going to be the world where pretty much soon, in a couple of years, autonomous cars are going to be everywhere. So the guys that are watching right now and playing and having fun on Twitch, they will be engineers of tomorrow, they will be working in these companies on the code. So yeah, what is fun today, and it's going to be really some great business in the future. That's also how we look at that. But when there is new team or new challenger coming to the game, there is always this question of thinking how the other teams will react and how what this team is thinking about. Do you think MIT and university grads, or our very, very top level teams should be stressed of your potential participation in the future of competition?
It is. We are closely following the successes of Roborace teams, and what they have demonstrated during the race is fascinating and deserves some respect. We have no such experience in such events, but it's very tempting to start a project that requires skills that are not taught anywhere else, and not only creating an effective team, but also create a product. So we're ready to start and compete with these well-respected teams, companies and universities. But it is stressing, yes.
Okay. And of course you believe you're gonna win.
I want to.
Okay, great. Actually, there is one question from right now we have on chat from Space Tech Madness, and he's asking, I wonder what would happen if some of NASA and SpaceX employees joined the team for Roborace. So, actually, this is a very relevant question because you, Timur, have this background in the astronomy or space. You're interested in that, and you joined the company, and you are working right now on the autonomous software for the vehicles of the future, right?
Yes.
So I would say these are very relevant questions. The guys working in these companies are very much overlapping with this area that you guys doing.
Actually, in question was about a NASA engineer or SpaceX engineer, and I was an astrophysicist, so it's kind of different things. Well, I'm now making a self-driving car. It's something that I'm making right now, and it will be part of near future. But when I'm theorizing about Big Bang or dark matter or something like that, it will have impact in longer than my lifetime, maybe yours and all of our audience. So in 100 or maybe a few hundred years, it will be something that impacting our life. But now it's just a lot of math and physics on your notebook or laptop. So
got it.
Having a astrophysicist is just a man who can actually figure everything out. And when you're trying to solve the universe problems, solving problems in cars, it's not a big deal. But we have we face some problems, and actually, try, at least I can say that we are facing them well.
Yeah, I think the big difference is that we are creating a really highly relevant testing environment for the guys like you, so you can test. When you're astrophysicist, you can work all your life on some theory, and all of a sudden it can change because there will be another Einstein who develops new theory, and everything is completely different from now on. And in Roborace, one of the questions I always wanted to ask for the new guys that want to join Roborace is that we have two types of teams in Roborace. One is basically universities, and the other type of teams are companies. And both of them have a bit of different motivation. Universities are basically students, PhD students working on the technology and trying to develop technology, and companies are working on the technology to commercialize. So where do you think there will be the next big thing coming on, like from the universities or from these kind of startups like you?
I think that next big thing will come from little startups like ours. It's because we have more motivation than universities. When you, I don't know how in other countries, in London, but in Russia, you work in like a scientific researcher, and you don't have a lot of motivation. You have a lot of time to research and do something interesting, but you don't need it to be done and done good to sell your product or move faster. Also, big companies like Google or Tesla, they doesn't need to move that quickly. They are already leaders. So it's for little startups like ours to make a next big thing.
Okay, very cool.
Yeah,
So those are
I would
very
like
strong.
to.
Yeah.
Can I
Please,
can I add
Pavel.
a few words? Yes, can I
Sure.
add a few words just for Timur
Sure,
just
sure.
said right now? Yeah. So as for mix for skills and maybe space related engineers, me actually. I was the founder of one of the Google Lunar X Prize team. It was a really interesting competition that was driven by Google and X Prize Foundation, and the SpaceX also involved. So the aim was to create a small robot to fly on the moon, just to receive some HD videos and photos and send it back to Earth. So it was a very great competition. Nobody wins, unfortunately, but it gave such a big community from all over the world that now is continue to make research. They continue to create startups. That I know if you want it raise money, and now they are even permanent players on the market. Not even a space market, but in transportation and some other area. So what do I mean? So when we mix engineers and scientists and managers with different experience, as Elon Musk already done for SpaceX and Tesla, in only this case it could be it could provide great success. It's my personal point of view.
Okay, that's interesting. Actually, that's a very, very strong comment because we have very strong teams from universities. So I keep your word. So if you are really joining Roborace, you will have a chance to challenge yourself and your software against universities and see if it's true. I hope it really happens. Tell us maybe in the end, what are your plans? Like, do you really want to join Roborace? When it's going to happen? What is the timeline?
So, as I already said, we right now make negotiations with our sponsors. So if it goes the way we see. So we would be happy to attend and join Roborace in autumn. So the season beta, yes, the next season, and then we have a bit time for now to improve our technologies and development. So just to be ready with the full set of what we are doing right now.
Okay, so MIT, Graz, Pisa, all of you guys that are already working on Roborace, you know, you have to be aware that a newcomer is coming, very, very strong one, that is very confident with the software they are going to be the first and beat you in the next races. Fingers crossed for everyone who wants to challenge. Do you guys want to tell something in the end to the audience or to the other teams?
Let me see. So we are actually closely following the success of the Roborace teams. So how they performed during the race, it's very challenging and fascinating. So and it deserves every respect, absolutely. So actually, for our side, we would like to say good luck, guys. So take care. Just make what do you want and go to your challenges. So and actually, if you have a dream to make it happen, then you will do it.
Very beautiful words. Thank you so much, Pavel. Thank you, Timur. Fingers crossed. See you soon in the competition. We hope that it's really gonna be amazing because your approach is very different. So we'll be able to see which robot, which artificial intelligence is smarter, faster, more performant. We give you the best cars that we have. They are the best cars on the planet, and you will push them to become superheroes.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Thank you so
for this
much.
opportunity.
It was great talk to you. Talk to you soon.
It was a great talk.
Thanks a lot. Thank you,
you.
guys. Cheers.
Yeah. Cheers.
Bye.
It's the underground of motorsports. First, we challenge the idea of having human drive.